Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now it's not something I like to do a lot on here, but I've had to in recent weeks admit that Birmingham isn't the only city in the UK. I know it's the best. I know that London is a complete crater of a wasteland compared to us, but there are lots of amazing talented people outside of Birmingham that I need to acknowledge. And I've got one such people on Zoom right now, so I'm delighted to introduce Abby Whistance. How's it going, Abby? Woo! Now,
good. I haven't seen you in person in ages.
Yeah, so it's nice to have that level of like social interaction. That is the only like level we can have in 2020 now, in the age of lockdown. But you have recently emigrated from Birmingham, having been in an amazing punk band called Pet. You've moved over to Leeds. In fact, before we go on, I should really put like a little video in the top of the corner of the first appearance you had.
Outside the Sunflower Land, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, well there was that one, and then there was Castle and Falcon, which was with Quinn. Do you remember that? It just like gate crashed my interview with Trudy and the Romance. That was it. Do you remember that show?
We met for the first time, but I didn't know you at that point. We met you there, and I remember being like, "I'm so sorry."
Just apologising for Molly the whole time. It's on my YouTube. It's documented. Over 1,000 views now. All right, nice brag.
Really?
But yeah. But Abby is here today because, as I've kind of acknowledged, I don't actually know that much about upcoming music outside of Birmingham. And what I really want is this channel just to be a great platform for new music all over the UK and Nate, all over the world. Abby is properly plugged into the Leeds scene. Yeah, how would you find Leeds compared to Birmingham, having lived in both places?
I love it.
It is great.
I feel like in terms of diversity, in terms of like the music scene, they're relatively similar, but for me, I think it's easier to find more diverse music in Leeds because it's smaller.
Yeah.
So you can kind of walk down a street in Leeds full of different bars, and every bar is like a different genre.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously in Birmingham you have to do a little bit more searching, I think. And there's like clusters, whereas in Leeds it's just like you never know what you're going to find. But they are similar.
Exactly, and a surprise around every corner. So what I've asked Abby to do is literally just get me 5 brand new bands I've never heard before, artists that you need to know from Leeds. So without further ado, we're going to react to them. I don't know how this is going to work with Zoom audio, but I guess we'll run with it. Hopefully, if you've got something on your phone and you play it, it'll sound good.
First one is actually a band that I've worked with. What was it? I've worked with fairly. She's playing. I've worked with quite a lot. So they released an EP called Empty Days Club during lockdown.
Yeah.
Which was all recorded from home. And it was all different collaborations with artists across Yorkshire, but also across the UK. And it was all about kind of using lockdown as a way to produce an EP or an album. And they released that, I think, I want to say the full thing. It was like a track every Sunday, and they released a full thing over the last few months. But there was a song that they released not that long ago, I don't think. It was in April. They've got a more new one out, but I really like this one, and it's called Feel Again, and it always reminds me of the Divine Comedy.
And what's the band called?
Talkboy.
Talkboy. Let's hear it. Let's hear Talkboy.
Summer days drinking, busy bar on the roof. People chattering, but my concentration is elsewhere. In my mind, I'm with you, chatting.
I don't know why I'm getting kind of Christmassy vibes from the start of it.
But yeah,
that is a good bop.
They're kind of like comedy. But they're really, really cool. And then I wrote an article recently about kind of like their lockdown and about the Empty Days Club for the Yorkshire Post.
Yeah.
And there's another article, I don't know when this video is going up, but it should be out, in Come Play With Me magazine about Tim Malkin, who's a member of the band.
Oh, wow.
And his like home studio setup that he used to record Empty Days Club.
So Talkboy sounding sick. I mean, I guess I feel like I got a tiny bit of like Franz Ferdinand, Alex Kapronos in those vocals. Every time I compare a band to another band, they're like, nah, we hate them. But that's a cool kind of a cousin of a sound, I guess.
Yeah, I can hear that. I can pick up on that.
Amazing. So we've got band number 1 down, loving Talkboy. Who's up next, Abby?
Now, I think you know this band, Artio.
Is it Artio? Yes. This is cool. I guess we both have a kind of, well, you're mates with them anyway, But I know Artio because of the one and only Jackie P, Jack Parker, who used to do
in a nightclub just
in Leeds.
Oh my god!
You can't miss him.
I thought I hallucinated. I didn't realise he was in Leeds.
Did you not know? You're like, you should be like way further south than this. But yeah, Jackie P, Scarlord's DJ, who I don't know if you've seen, he's now doing like cowboy rap videos, and one of the guys from Artio. Yeah, Cowboy Biff Bop, and one of the guys from Artio is actually like producing the beats for him. So there's a beautiful musical link there. I've checked a little bit of Artio and I know they're dope, but I'm excited now to kind of, I guess, get more of a flavour of them, more of a taster.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ewan who is Hull. He actually produces all of the Artio stuff.
Yeah.
He's the one who's helping Jackie P, but he's so great.
Wow.
This is, I think, of their most recent EP called Standalone. Is it Standalone and Do Your Dance? I think that came out really recently, and they're actually releasing it on vinyl as well. So
sick. I love the build up and the drop. I think it's so hard to do that well, but they smash it.
Yeah, they're a lot like Nothing But Thieves.
Yeah, okay, I definitely get that one. I'm a big fan of Nothing But Thieves. I've seen them support Muse, my like favourite band of all time. As well, yeah, I think the production is so sick, and I've seen a little clip of them live as well, so I know they've got that same energy like when they're performing.
They've also just, so before they didn't have a drummer, it was like synthetic. I don't know what the official term is.
Yeah, I also like a drum beat or... Yeah.
And now they've got an actual drummer for when they perform live as well, because I went to the first gig that they did a few weeks ago after lockdown.
Yeah.
And it all seated, minimum, I think there was only like 20 people that were recording, or maybe less than that. And it was so good, and they have this drummer now, and it's brilliant. They're so great live.
And I'm sure, is she the lead singer?
Whole Brazil, yeah, and so Bob Brazil, who works with me on my radio station,
amazing,
who does a guest spot every week. That's her dad, and he also owns Monomyth Records.
That's mad, because yeah, her voice is just so powerful. It cuts through. Also, as you said, we both work in radio. The stuff you do with LDC, I'm sure you can testify. Bands who have their visuals nailed down are always going to have an advantage over someone who's, I don't know, just whipping out some like Comic Sans and word art in their Instagram. And Artio, like everything I see on their Instagram, it looks so fresh and clean.
Yeah, they've really put so much effort into it, and I mean, Hole does a lot of that work herself, and a lot of the kind of like control lead management side of things Hole does. So she also is like writing all of it, Ewan in the band and her are producing it, and it's just this entire kind of like creative, almost like mothership, that's just so great. So
the mothership of Artio, that is absolutely sick. 2 out of 5 down. Who have we got next, Abby?
So I'm so excited about this one.
Okay.
They're not a very big band, and I get really upset about it, because the other two are like relatively popular, I guess, in Leeds, and also like they get a bit of radio play. Whereas this band, as far as I know, don't. I heard them at, I think it was a gig at a place in Leeds called Verve. And then my first ever gig with my company, I put them on. They are incredible. They're a band called Unicorn Hunters. I think they've only got like, I want to say like 600 followers maybe.
Not many.
One evening out. And they actually, so they have not released any music in years.
Yeah.
And then they dropped a post just, I think it was the same day that I sent you these bands through.
Yeah.
About an hour later, they dropped a post and they're releasing new music.
It's like they knew. They're on that level. I love you've got to that level of supporting new bands where you get angry they're not bigger. Because I feel that everyone who does that has been through that moment. Like there's a few bands in Birmingham, especially like Lissio. I'm just like, why are you not on the charts? It's so aggravating because you sound as good as like all these people who are getting the royal treatment, the red carpet of Hugh Stevens sessions. There's a lot of great music slept on in the UK. So that's what we're here for.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I love these guys so much, and the bass line in some of their music, it honestly blows my mind.
I'm ready for
and
the
he
bass.
plays up here as well, which is like so cool.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like you're really gonna like this.
Okay, okay. I feel like this is proper rock and roll now. This is like no indie messing around.
They are just, oh my god, and I cannot even like formulate words for how amazing they were, to the point that when I put them on at my gig, I was meant to be doing doors, and I had to get a friend of mine. I was like, can you just please like do doors for like 10 minutes, because I need to just listen to this, because they are one of the best local bands I've seen live, which is saying a lot because I see so many bands.
That's amazing.
But they
yeah, it's like, I know from the kind of music you were making when you were in Birmingham, you're probably more into the heavier end of things. So I imagine if you've got that live, you just want to be in that pit, even if it is your night.
Well, this is the really weird thing. I was in a punk band.
Yeah.
My favourite genres of music are like jazz, funk and soul, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I love punk music, but for me, that kind of band, and it's not just about it being kind of like heavy or like more in tune with what I kind of grew up listening to. There's something so kind of engaging about it, because it almost sounds really like dirty and kind of like not polished, not squeaky clean. That's kind of a lot of rock music these days, and a lot of kind of more maybe like pop rock.
Yeah.
Pop rock.
I mean, I know you did a cover of the Spice Girls before anyway, so it's all like genre fluid, and you can draw that. I don't know if there's any jazz funk in Pet, but yeah, influences can be drawn from all over the place. I'm loving the Leeds lineup so far. Band number 4. Who have we got?
4. So, I'm really excited about this one. This is a woman that I interviewed a little while ago, and I saw her. There's a really big band who aren't actually on this list, but I will say if you do kind of like female, I don't know what it is, kind of like girl punk.
Yeah.
Riot, borderline Riot Girl, but a little bit more alt rock.
Okay.
Riot Girl, I would say, so less on the punk end. A band called Venus, and they were doing a gig at a place in Leeds called the Porto. I think it was for a single launch of theirs, and they had a woman support them called Dilletante, and I sat there and I watched it, and I think she was supposed to have a band with her, and then they couldn't make it or something, and she was also really unwell. And she kept apologising and saying, like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm not feeling great, I'm really trying my best. And honest to God, she was insane. And I could not believe that this was her at kind of the level of unwell, not with a band. And then I went away and checked her out and did an interview with her. And she basically uses loop pedals and plays like every instrument. She like goes around the stage picking up like a saxophone, doing things with the vocals, looping that, piano, drums, and then start singing over the top. But there was a song that she did called Big Fish. Okay. The demo at the time that has now kind of been released as a session, where the entire thing is just her voice. It's like a cappella, but she uses it in such a strange way. So I wanted to share that.
I'm intrigued. Let's hear this then. It's crazy, it's weird. It's like...
I'm going to skip it forward a bit.
Yeah, it's because it's proper like strip back. That's like early Animal Collective, like without the synths. That's amazing.
pictures, but all of yours were full of sky. Go used to take so many pictures, but all of yours were full of sky.
That's quite folky as well, I think.
Take so many pictures,
like that.
but all of yours were full of sky.
So yeah, so it goes on, and that's one purely her vocal. She does
So sick.
a whole EP. I think it's called Hate Songs. That's really,
Yeah.
really great. But for me, hearing that and like seeing her go around the stage and actually seeing the process.
Yeah, so that's how she does it. Like she like builds it up part by part, so you get to see the process. I love it when artists do that. I think like obviously Ed Sheeran popularized the loop pedal, but there's so many people who do it component by component. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so weird because I've never seen anyone do that before, not properly.
Yeah.
And see like this woman kind of get up there and do and be able to play like even relatively small parts of like the saxophone, the piano, the guitar, the bass, the drums, and even if not to a high standard, but to be able to do that and then compose like something really great.
Yeah.
Me, I thought it was brilliant. And yeah, you're right. She is very much like Animal Collective.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. A little
weird
bit
ethereal.
tune-yards.
Yeah, I do love a bit of tune yards. We've come up to the final band. It's been absolutely wonderful, Abby. I feel properly northern now, entrenched in the culture of Leeds. But
Yeah,
I know you're going to, honorary northerner, I know you're going to end it with a bang. So who have we got last up?
So these guys have been kind of my introduction to Leeds in terms of when I was really getting into my music journalism. It's the first article I think I wrote for the Yorkshire Post in my first year of university. So my first like proper kind of like job, I guess. And then they've ended up being some really good friends of mine. And they are terrible people, but also brilliant in terms of whenever I try to interview them, they're like the most inappropriate.
Oh man.
Like always trying to take the piss. But they're incredibly talented and they're lovely. They're a band called Fudge, who I am very, very big on. And they recently released some town hall sessions, this being one of them. And I'm not even going to give it like an introduction to what it is.
Let's hear it.
There's times we need to live for, there's times that pass us by. I don't know what the future may hold, but fuck it, we're going to try. But when there's money to be made, what's important fades away.
That's mad.
The best band in Leeds.
That's so sick. And I mean, I think, you know, we have a great heritage of spoken word here in Birmingham. Obviously, Mike Skinner in the Streets is like next level legendary. But you look at the North, and ever since John Cooper Clarke and I first heard him and learnt about the link between that and Joy Division, there's something special about hearing like a Northern accent and spoken word. And that riff was like unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's Otto who writes the riffs. Otto is one of the best guitarists I've ever witnessed in my life. And then Cam, who is the vocalist. And actually, if you listen to the EP that they released, I think at the beginning of this year, I got that wrong. I think I think it's called Panic On. And they have like skits in the EP. And actually, a poem, I think it's Otto, no, I think it might be Cam reading it. It's either Cam or Otto reading it, called Night Pigeon. That's one of the most stupid things I've ever heard in my life, and it's hilarious.
Wow. I guess there's got to be like some rap influence in there as well to have the skits in there, because I think a lot of people like Kendrick uses them, Eminem uses them, and there's like I was listening, it almost became like rap metal at one point, having started spoken word. That's amazing. Yeah. Do you remember a band called the Butters Aliens from Birmingham?
I love it.
So when they were doing like the song about a worm at the bottom of the garden, and it's like a nursery, and his name is Wiggly Woo. Oh man, Ed, I think it is. It's their singers.
Yeah, no, it's Ed. Yeah. I'm still friends with Ed, actually. And
they're lovely, man.
Danny. I don't know if Danny's still in the band, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
still in the band. Oh God, moving away from Birmingham, I've lost like all of my knowledge
Oh,
about the
wow.
local music.
You have to come back soon and check it out. But I mean, I love to see you in Leeds, and I feel properly enriched now culturally. So thank you so much for that, Abby. If people want to check you out, you've got a weekly show on LDC, don't you?
I do, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. every day. Funk and soul and kind of like house music, a little bit of kind of like hip hop, R&B, on LDC Radio, Leeds Dance Community Radio.
Definitely.
97.8 FM if you're local.
Check it out. All the details of all the bands featured will be in the description. And if you could subscribe as well, that'd be sick, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs at some point. Also, let me know, what city should we do next? Bands you need to know, whether it's Manchester, Bristol, so many loads of like great cities out there. I'm going to try and get through most of them. Yeah, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you, Abby. Big love.
Bye.
Bye.